All right, we've started recording. Bo, Taylor, thank you very much for making time.
Thank you.
While we're doing
Thank
this, I'm gonna
you.
go ahead and change Taylor's name over here too, so it says Taylor Steele. Um, but I am talking to the Steele clan here. And if you all will just go ahead and introduce yourself, we sort of know that you guys work for Sotheby's, but please take it away, Bo.
Sure, I'll start, and then Taylor can chime in. So my name is Bo Steele. I have been here at our company since 1993, so about 30 years, a little over 30 years in the business. Family-run business that my brother Taylor and I took over for our father in 21 when he passed away with COVID. And we have done great things. We affiliated with Sotheby's International Realty back in 2014. And we were already kind of a player in the upper end market in the Richmond, Central Virginia and Richmond area. And since then, we have absolutely taken off. We've got the finest collection of agents in Richmond, and we are, very communicative and believe in service in our clients and raising the bar from their previous experiences. So hopefully looking forward to further discussions.
I love that. Thank you. And Taylor, would you introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, so I am Taylor Steele. I have been in the business since 2003. I'm the vice president. Bo's the president of our company, and I'm a managing broker of one of our locations as well. And we have 3 locations, 2 in Richmond, 1 in Williamsburg. We cover a wide, big, giant geographical area, and so there's a lot going on there, and that's pretty much it. Bo said everything else. So
Excellent. Wonderful. And if I may just follow up on, I love that you guys have been doing this for a long time. I love that you're also the legacy of what your father had started. I'm sorry about that loss, certainly. But if you'll talk a little bit more, you said you have 3 offices, 2 in Richmond, 1 in Williamsburg. Could you talk about the market that you cover and what sort of footprint clients could avail your services in, please?
Taylor, you want to take that?
Yeah, so we cover a lot of different lifestyles. Our area has that. We have waterfront, from saltwater to freshwater, rivers to bay to ocean. We have larger freshwater sources such as Swift Creek Reservoir. We have Lake Chesden, Lake Anna. We've got equestrian. We've got rural. We've got urban. We've got suburban. We have just about any pace you're looking for, and you're not far from a different pace if you wanted to get involved in that as well. So we've got a little bit of everything with a close proximity to each other.
I love that. Thank you. So you guys,
one thing I would add to that too is that, one of the when you're looking at Central Virginia on a map, it's very important to look at its proximity to other things. Proximity to the west of the mountains, which we can access within an hour. Proximity to the north, which is Washington, D.C., which, traffic dependent, where we are within 2 hours. And then the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, Virginia Beach, Norfolk, we're within 2 hours of there. We have an office in Colonial Williamsburg, which is about an hour away. And then we represent properties on the bay as well. So vacation properties, things of that nature. So that's very diverse what we can look at and talk about here in Central Virginia from a robust urban economy that's happening, that's really blowing up here. And we're seeing appreciation rates in Richmond ranging from 6% up to 15% currently. Still, we're beating the odds compared to most of the cities around the country. And I think a lot of that is that we were a big remote city, but a lot of that is really DC. Our proximity to Washington is continuing a flow of people to Richmond, and I don't see that slowing down. So I think from the investment side, Central Virginia is going to be very solid for many years to come.
Thank you, and I really appreciate that. Go ahead. Sorry, Taylor.
Yeah, yeah, and we've got the high speed rail, which I don't know if that's 5 years, 10 years, 15 years away, what have you. But once that comes in, that's just gonna blow us up even more, because we'll be able to get to DC really fast. And hitting on the geography aspect as well, I like to tell people I can walk out of my front door, get in my car, be in the mountains in an hour, or either drive in the opposite direction and be at salt water in an hour. So it's kind of a nice place to be.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you. And and we're going to touch on access by aircraft as well. But both you, Taylor and Bo, really appreciate also touching on the fact that it's a great investment, because DC happens to be one of the global connection cities that
Yes.
clients from all over the world like to come to, connect to, and to have an abode not far from DC, but also not far from the mountains, salt water and fresh water. I think all of that connects to sort of the needs and desires of what our clients are looking for. And I can already see how your familiarity, both in terms of tenure and the coverage that you have geographically, you'd be very ideal advisors to these clients who are very pressed for time and want to work with knowledgeable, caring professionals. Yeah. So, if we may just really quickly touch on that private aircraft access, and then I would like to sort of maybe talk a little bit about custom home building and that network that you may have, and other services, etc. And certainly appreciated Taylor sending the overview as well, which I'll share with clients. If you have any other materials, internal, etc., that you want to send my way, that certainly wouldn't hurt. Because as I shared with Taylor and Bo, you probably I think would like to hear this, that in addition to these sort of immediate folks, the four that I mentioned that hopefully we'll give a shout out to, the goal here is to connect with you all on an ongoing basis so that we have reliable advisors for future clients. So coming back to aircraft access, could you talk to us a little bit about that?
Do you want me to take that one, Taylor?
Yeah, yeah, go ahead, Bo.
Pretty familiar with it because I know several people that have flown privately, and my father-in-law flies privately often. So most of the people from Richmond that are flying on their own private aircraft or using NetJets or whatever they're using are typically flying out of the Chesterfield Airport, which is probably, I would say, 10 to 15 minutes from downtown. Very close by. We also have an airport north of town in Hanover, probably not quite as big of an airport as Chesterfield, and but still people do fly out of that some. To the west, we have an airport in Louisa County. So for the equestrian side, that one is pretty convenient. I have a client that does fly out of there. And then in Williamsburg has got an airport really close to town, which is right next to the Williamsburg Winery. And a lot of people who fly into Colonial Williamsburg, donors and people, do use that airport. And then if you're looking at something on the bay, on the Chesapeake Bay, possibly a property to invest in there, there is an airport that's kind of near Whitestone. It's just on the south side of the Rappahannock River. And then you've got your big commercial airports in Richmond, Newport News, and Norfolk, and such.
So good
pretty well covered.
Yeah, both for international access as well as local private jet access. So I love that. Thank you so much.
Sure.
And so, just steering the conversation into more custom build experiences, could you speak about some of the relationships that you have locally so that clients could avail a custom build should they want to take that away, please?
We have a lot of relationships. I've actually got a friend who is building with a custom builder right now, property probably worth about 2.7 million. And he actually, the builder has a license within our office. But then we have access to, gosh, several others, because when we were talking about this build, we actually had some bids that went out to 3 or 4 smaller builders. I think those guys are a little bit better to work with than the larger builders. I think they're a little bit more personal. It's accommodating kind of your needs, what you want in a house. But we have a lot here to choose from, a lot of actual personal relationships with these people, even outside of business. And then we have other people that are just strictly business, but we have quite a few here to choose from, and people building very, very nice houses. I do think when you get into Central Virginia, when you start getting into about the $5 million price point, it starts to, you see a shrinking market. We don't have a lot over that, but we did just list a house in Richmond that is redone so beautifully. One of the prettiest houses I've ever been in my whole career, probably the prettiest from top to bottom, that we have on for 9.5 million right now with some interest. And it's right in the heart of town on 2 acres. So it is a phenomenal property. And that was all redone custom by a custom builder and just beautifully done.
I love that, you know, and that's one of the things that we are certainly seeking, right? We are seeking advisors who have deep vendor relationships, builder relationships, and other kinds of resources that a client can avail and help save time, energy. I think that's the biggest priority here. You know, go ahead, Taylor.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, like I said in the email, you know, we have agents that are, you know, really focused on waterfront or equestrian, different things, and they have they work with high net worth clients in those situations too, and they have their own builders and people, lenders and people like that. They feel like are really good in those situations.
I love that. Yeah, you know, specialized resources are very valuable, right?
Yes, definitely.
Whoever can help our clients really manage their time and their energy in an efficient ways. I think the most critical thing here.
Well, also, I think it's important to have advisors that know where you should be capping your investments in certain areas, where you're going to be able to get a return on an investment, because most of these custom builders are going to have about a 20% markup in what they're doing. So, you know, you've got to look at where you're going in the future, what's coming into these areas, what areas are going to be on the forefront of the next stage of blowing up, because I think we are about a few months ago, we were netting 28 people a week positive to Central Virginia, which is a trend that's probably still happening. So we have emerging areas in Richmond as well, but those core areas of investment are things that we know really well, and where you probably need to start limiting what you're putting into something to protect your investment.
Excellent. Yeah, you know, and those are the kind of things that sometimes the client may be sensitive to, other times the client may not care, but for the clients who do want to be sensitive to a return on investment, I think it's really good to work with advisors who can guide them intelligently on that front. So thank you for that. You know, sometimes there may be a possibility that the client may be working with an architect and designer out of town, maybe even international, but want to work with a builder locally. And I'm sure that you guys could connect with the right kind of resources on that front as well. So this is great. I mean, you know, we've covered pretty much everything. We've covered the markets that you guys are able to help our clients in. We've talked about the lifestyle and pace, which is sort of whole variety of options. And then we've talked about access to both the region by private aircrafts and international airports.
Yeah,
and
a
we've also
better
talked
place
about
here.
builder
Okay.
resources. Forgive me, Taylor. I don't think I caught that.
He froze.
That's okay. That's okay. Yeah. You know, so I think we've covered sort of the gamut of things. I didn't want this to be a very extended, wanted it to be a quick intro about you, so the clients would get to know yourselves, be a little bit familiar, and then I'm sure you and I will interact further as the clients express interest. And I really appreciated Taylor sending me some properties, I would request you can certainly put me on your email list so I can keep an eye out on listings for clients. But I'm going to stop the recording here, Bo, and then we'll just recap a little bit more. So let's do this.